4. Cheaper hidden cars are sitting on used lots, and dealers can't move them. Not because they're broken, but because buyers don't notice them. Number 4 is a hatch you can still grab under $6,000, and in our shop, it's basic fluids and brakes. Stick around. Number 1 is a quieter Toyota Goldmine that feels like a Lexus. Number 4, Pontiac Vibe. This car looks cheaper because Pontiac is gone, so buyers assume trouble, totally misreading. That fear is your deal because the Vibe is practical and often very reliable. We see them sit while flashier crossovers sell quickly with questionable value. A customer came in needing a practical daily that could haul tools, groceries, and weekend gear. He was ready to sign on a newer ride, and the payment felt painful, expensive. We said slow down, do a smarter check, and keep your wallets safe. We walked him to a Vibe with service stamps and a folder of receipts, proof. He saw the badge, got nervous, then we told him it has Toyota roots. 10 minutes later, he was calmer because it drove lighter and felt more honest. That's the win. You get boring transportation that stays consistent and keeps costs predictable. For 2009 and 2010, most Vibes use a proven Toyota 1.84 cylinder. Pair that with a basic 4-speed automatic, and you get routine, normal ownership. No fancy boost plumbing, no complicated fuel tricks, just steady spark and fuel doing the job. In our shop, the usual visits are brakes, tires, and fluids. Then it rolls out. The layout is friendly too, so labor stays affordable, and parts are everywhere. The cargo shape is a real bonus. Fold the seats, and you can load bulky stuff fast. And because nobody buys these to impress a neighbor, owners often drive them gentler and keep them cleaner. Now age still matters, and neglect can damage any engine, even one with a strong name. So we treat every used car like a checkup, calm eyes, and careful handling. Price is the punchline. If this kind of cheaper, realistic advice helps, subscribe and stick around. We're building an honest community for reliable owners, not pressured shoppers. We still see nice ones around $3,000 to $6,000. Try finding a similar Matrix or Corolla hatch at that money. It's often higher. That price gap is what makes this one a genuine bargain for anyone shopping smarter. Before you buy, test buttons, because broken switches and screens are annoying. Also check the struts. A sagging hatch is cheap to fix, but it shows neglect. Here's the inspection checklist. Keep it simple and do it the same every time. First, check for rusted metal underneath, especially rocker seams, rear mounts, and brake lines. Second, listen for the bearing growl on the drive. A steady hum that rises with speed is a warning. Third, look for uneven tire wear, which points to alignment neglect or tired suspension parts. Fourth, do a cold start, watch for rough idle or smoke, then walk away if it feels unstable. If the seller has records, that's golden, and it usually means the car was cared for. If you like this deal, number 3 is a bigger sedan that scares people, but can be surprising. Number 3, Volkswagen Passat 2.5. This one is cheaper because people hear Volkswagen and expect expensive trouble. We get the fear, but this setup can be simple and reliable. A guy came in with Accord money, budget mindset, and a dealer pushing premium comfort. He found a Passat 2.5 with one owner record and felt skeptical, stressed. He asked us to inspect it because he feared a painful, disastrous repair bill. We put it on the lift, checked leaks, checked fluids, then did a thorough road test. What we liked was how plain it felt, and plain can be good news, predictable. We've seen them pass 200,000 miles with basic oil and routine brakes. The trick is avoiding neglected cars, because overdue maintenance becomes expensive, stressful. Stick to the 2.5, skip the turbo trims, and keep things simple, reliable. The 2.5 is a naturally aspirated inline 5, not a turbo working harder, hotter. That means fewer heat-soak problems, fewer cracked hoses, and fewer mystery boost leaks. In 2012 through 2015, you can get a traditional, durable 6-speed automatic. No clutch gambling, no weird launch shutter, just normal, routine shifting when maintained. For a long-term owner, that is predictable, affordable service instead of surprise invoices. It's roomy too, spacious up front, and the trunk is big enough for Tetris trips. On the highway, it feels stable, and the seating position is pretty friendly. So why is it priced low? Most buyers get worried about anything that feels foreign. That turns into discounted, ignored listings, even when the car is doing fine. In many towns, we see typical pricing around $5,000 to $8,000. A similar year, Camry or Accord often costs more, even when the equipment level is close. That gap is where you win, as long as the car was cared and maintained. Still, we never buy blind, because any used car can hide hidden damage. Here's our inspection checklist, and it helps you avoid massive regret later. First, look for vacuum pump oil seepage. It's common leakage that should be addressed. Second, make sure the transmission shifts cleanly when cold. Harsh engagement is a red flag. Third, scan for stored codes. Even if the dash is quiet, hidden faults become expensive. Fourth, confirm service history, basic, routine. Fluid changes are the lifeline here. On the drive, keep listening for knocks and feel for braking vibration at speed. If it shakes, negotiate smarter, then choose a walkaway if they refuse. Also test windows and locks because electrical gremlins are annoying, not fatal. If this kind of cheaper, realistic advice helps, subscribe and stick around. We're building an honest community for reliable owners, not pressured shoppers. Would you buy this over an Accord if the gap saved your wallet $5,000? And if you think this one is ignored, the next car is a Honda Surprise judged for ridiculous reasons. Number 2 is the Honda Crosstour V6, and it stays cheaper for confusing reasons. Most buyers never decide if it was a sedan or a crossover, so dealers leave it discounted and unloved. We love that, because confusion creates value for people who buy smarter. We had a customer who wanted CR-V space, with a wallet that was already stretched. Every CR-V he found felt overpriced, and the sales pitch was pushier and stressful. We pointed at a Crosstour and he laughed, then got curious and serious. 2 miles later, he was calmer because it felt stable and quieter than he expected. He didn't need trendy. He needed practical miles with fewer surprise repairs. And the best part, it does the same job as pricier choices, while staying cheaper and quieter. For 2013 to 2015, the V6 uses the J35Y1 with a 6-speed automatic, and it's reliable and proven. That's an Accord-based setup, simple to live with, and reliable when it's maintained. It skips turbo heat and complex gadgets that turn a daily into expensive misery. It also uses VCM on the highway, so we want steady records and clean service. In our shop, the long owners are the ones who track fluids and records. Now the real talk, age can still cause damage and costly surprises, so we stay careful. These are heavy, so tired mounts can feel shaky and annoying at stoplights. We want smooth shifts, and we want straight tracking at speed, no wandering. When it's right, it feels comfortable and relaxed, even after long interstate runs. That's why we call it a quieter, reliable tool, not a flashy conversation piece. Pricing is jaw-dropping because it's honest and cheaper than it looks. A 2014 Crosstour EXL is typically around $11,000 to $12,000 in markets. We see undervalued listings under $9,000 in some areas, depending on miles and history. Compare that to CR-V money, and you're often overpaying for resale hype. With the Crosstour, you get hatch space and road trip comfort without paying extra. We like it for tall drivers because the doors open wide, the seat feels upscale, and trips stay comfortable. Here's our inspection. Checklist: keep it quick, keep it serious. First, if it's all-wheel drive, do turns and listen for groaning or shudder. That often points to overdue diff fluids, so ask for proof and receipts. Second, feel for vibration during shifts and at idle. Mounts are common and fixable. Third, hit a rough road and listen for suspension knocks, links, and bushings get tired. Fourth, verify routine fluids were done because neglected service becomes expensive fast. Fifth, test every switch and screen because electrical annoyances waste minutes and patience. Have you ignored this car before because it looked confusing and different? Alright, number 1 is the Toyota people overlook because it doesn't fit a neat category, and that's why it's a cheaper gold mine. If this kind of cheaper, realistic advice helps, subscribe and stick around. We're building an honest community for reliable owners, not pressured shoppers. Tell us your budget, and we'll share practical checks you can use weekly. Here's our quick playbook to buy smarter and avoid costly mistakes. Search with keywords, trims, and one owner, plus service records for better leads. Filter out salvage titles, missing keys, and fresh undercoating with no underside photos. That's suspicious. Skip needs nothing ads with no paperwork, because hidden damage turns expensive later. Do a cold start. Listen carefully. Then drive city bumps and a steady highway stretch. Stay alert. Finish with parking lot full lock turns, because shutter and noise show up fast. Negotiate using realistic costs, tires, brakes, fluids, and warning lights, so the price stays fairer. If the seller won't move, walk away, because waiting saves serious dollars. Get a pre-purchase inspection. We'd rather spend a little now than eat a painful bill later. Number 1 is the Toyota Venza V6, and it stays cheaper because it looks boring and forgotten. It drives like a crossover, rides like a big sedan, and nobody brags, nobody notices. That's good for us, because ignored cars are usually more reliable and comfortable. If you want quieter miles and lowest stress, this is the sleeper choice right here. We had a customer shopping for a used Lexus RX. He wanted quieter cruising and an upscale feel. He loved the Lexus, then saw the price, and his wallet started screaming costly pain. We asked him one thing: do you want a badge, or do you want value and comfortable driving? He said he wanted reliable miles, simple upkeep, and a cabin that stays quieter at speed. We walked him to a Venza, and he laughed, then got curious and serious. He called it a tall Camry, and we said that's why it's cheaper and undervalued. 2 test drives later, he said the Venza felt smooth and stable, not floaty, not harsh. He looked back at the Lexus listing and said, "So I'm paying extra, paying costly, for a logo." Here's why the Venza V6 works. The 2 GRFE 3.5 is proven and durable. It pairs with a 6-speed automatic that's standard and reliable, not an experiment. No turbo heat, no boost hoses, no drama, just simple power that lasts longer. It's built on a Camry-based layout, so parts stay common and reasonable. With basic service, we see these stay quieter and comfortable deep into high miles. And when owners keep records and clean service, the car stays smooth and stable for years. Now the price. A 2013 Venza often lands around 10 grand. Still cheaper and undervalued. Some dip closer to 6 grand, and that's where the market gets silly and generous. A similar year, Lexus RX is usually higher, even when the miles are close and similar. That difference pays for tires, brakes, and a full inspect visit with money left. Who should buy it? Keep it simple and honest. Highway commuters who want comfortable seats, quieter cabins, and reliable cold starts. Families who want practical cargo space plus smooth rides without huge truck bulk. Anyone tired of the badge tax who wants value and longer ownership without drama. Who should skip it? Stay realistic and careful. If you want sharper steering, this is not sporty. It's calmer and comfortable. If you ignore fluids, any car becomes costly and stressful. This one too. Here's our inspection checklist, and it protects your wallet from costly surprises. First, demand records and service, oil changes and transmission work, because history matters. Second, check for oil seepage under the engine, because small leaks become damage. Third, do a cold start. Listen for rough idle and confirm smooth and careful running. Fourth, test the air conditioning hard. Weak cooling is annoying and expensive. Fifth, run every switch and window, because electrical issues are annoying and patience killers. Sixth, check tire wear. Uneven edges point to alignment, neglect, and suspension wear. Seventh, on all-wheel drive models, do tight turns. Binding is a warning and costly. Eighth, look for coolant crust near the water pump, because seepage turns into damage and expensive. Ninth, ask about the oil feed hose update on some Toyota 3.5s. Stay alert and aware. We prefer the updated metal style because a failed hose can dump oil quickly and costly. If there's no proof, we inspect it ourselves. and we price the risk honestly. Do that, and you get a cheaper, reliable, comfortable ride that just keeps going. After this, we'll cover cheaper, older SUVs that hit $200,000 with normal service, so you're not guessing. Wrap-up recap. These four are gold mines, because the market stays confused and lazy. The Vibe fits small haulers. It's cheaper from a dead badge, still reliable daily. The Passat fits roomy commuters. It's cheaper from brand fear, still simple upkeep with bigger space. The Crosstower fits road trips. It's cheaper from odd styling, stays comfortable, and drives smooth. The Venza fits families. It's cheaper than being forgotten yet durable, by condition and paperwork, because neglect turns damage into costly repairs fast. If this saved you money, subscribe for extra lists with checklists and realistic shop talk. No pressure. Drop your budget below. We answer with simple steps and reliable picks, not dealer noise, okay? These four cars are cheaper because they're forgotten, not because they're failing or fragile today. Tell us your most reliable bargain. Drive safe, stay smarter, and we'll catch you next time.